Hey everybody, welcome back to yet another exciting edition of What CD is Rob listening to now. And this time I have just finished listening to Van Halen's 1981 album, Fair Warning, their fourth album. And I don't know if you noticed last time, on the last one I did for, Women and Children First, I sort of jotted down some notes, and I thought I'd change up how I do these and make it more of like a review thing rather than a quick synopsis. And so here are my thoughts on Fair Warning. So if you see my eyes darting back and forth, it's just because I'm reading my notes. Okay, the album starts with fine fashion with one of my favorite David Lee Roth-led Van Halen tracks, Mean Street. The song's a hard rocker with a killer performance turned in by all four members of the band. There's growth in David Lee Roth's vocals, if you can believe it, and he sounds just phenomenal. You know, minus the random talking that he feels he must throw in. The guitar solo is a bit disjointed at times, but overall damn good, as to be expected from Eddie Van Halen. Dirty Movie starts off a bit quiet with just drums, a quiet bass part, and then some crazy notes from Eddie. I really love the bass tone of the intro. The full band kicks in and Roth delivers his intro howls and noises, and you know you're in for a really cool Van Halen song, minus the weird David Lee Roth stuff. This song may be a bit forgotten, but I love the sound of this one. Great song with a fantastically written and performed chorus. If it weren't for the breakdown part of the tune with the audience applauding at a strip club while David Lee Roth cheers them on, this song would be flawless. I get that was part of his charm, part of the charm of these early Van Halen albums, but it never really clicked for me. Sinner Swing is another rocker with some great drum work from Alex. I love the vocal harmonies on this and pretty much any Van Halen song. And musically, it shows just how great this band was. Everything works so well together, with the vocals sounding really fantastic here. This might be one of my favorite guitar solos on the album. Hear About It Later kicks off with just some guitar, and I just love the tone of the guitar and the effects used here. It really sets off a very cool vibe before David Lee Roth and the rest of the band kick in with another wonderful hard rocker. The entire band are perfectly in sync here, and everything works so well together. And as always, those patented Van Halen melodies are just amazing. By the time I get to this track, it's easy to see why this is my favorite of the original David Lee Roth fronted Van Halen albums. The big hit on the album comes up next, and it's Unchained, and it's one of the best tunes on the disc. Sometimes it's just played a lot because it just deserves to be played a lot. Again, the guitars are gritty and crunchy, and the drums and bass work beautifully to propel the song forward. And this is one of the few times where Roth's weird spoken shit doesn't overly annoy me. It's just a classic metal tune. The disc comes to, push comes to shove. I'm sorry. Wait, push comes to shove? That was next. Push Comes to Shove is just what the doctor ordered after the pure hard rock bombastic attack of Unchained. This song is very much unlike the rest of the disc, sort of a groovy kind of a disco song, done as only Van Halen could have done it. I think the music here works well with David Lee Roth's weird brand of bullshit. It just sort of works. The guitars get moments of flashy brilliance, but it's the rhythm section that really shines on this one, and that's something to be said about Van Halen. Their rhythm section is one of the best. It always was. Alex Van Halen and Michael Anthony were just fantastic. So This Is Love lifts the energy back up a bit, kicking in with bass, drums, and vocals before Eddie comes in with sparse guitar to lead the entire band into kicking off in typical sort of Van Halen fashion. Vocal harmonies, that classic Eddie Van Halen guitar sound, and a rhythm section, again, that rivals any rhythm section out there. Maybe not the most memorable Van Halen song, but a damn good one that I think is criminally overlooked. And should we talk about the hand claps? Maybe we shouldn't. Anyhow, the disc ends with the 1-2 punch of Sunday Afternoon in the Park and One Foot Out the Door. The instrumental first part of the duo is such a dirty keyboard-driven song. I don't believe Van Halen ever got so close to prog rock as they did in this track. It's such a cool song. The only complaint I have is I wish it were longer. Like, it could have been a more epic instrumental prog rock track, but oh well. At just under 2 minutes, it segues immediately into the final track of the album, One Foot Out the Door. Another brief song on the album. This one is also very cool. It loses that sort of prog rock vibe in favor of a more hard rock 70s tune. Sorry, got interrupted. Anyway, there's some really cool keyboard work here as well, but it just doesn't feel as proggy as the previous track, and the guitar solo here just smokes. Very cool stuff. It's easy to see why this album is my favorite Van Halen album. The songs are fantastic, the musicianship is great, the production is just phenomenal. And so as far as the David Lee Roth stuff, out of the original Roth stuff, this is my favorite. Anyway, until next time, toodles.